Hey ToGA brothers, it's your boy Sean. So, I wanted to tell you guys that a package I was talking about arrived from Amazon. Now, obviously I'm not going to show you the sticker of my address. It'd be stupid, right? Alright, so what I'm going to do is we're going to do an unboxing together. I'm going to show you what I bought. Because this will play an integral part in my ear stretching journey. So, I guess we're all going to like recyclable plastic material now, which is great for the environment, by the way. It just makes a lot of noise. Alright. Very satin-like bag that they give to you. Can I also tell you guys, so they gave it to me in a plastic pouch, then they put it in a satin or silk pouch, then they put it in a plastic pouch, then they put the plastic pouch with little plastic baggies inside. Now, oh shit. Well, that's unfortunate. So these are 00, and they didn't even give me a baggie for that. That's wild. So these must be 0. But what am I talking about? So these guys are little mini tunnels for your ear stretching journey. Okay? And basically they screw so the end of it you can go through. So I have to lay them out so that I make sure I have the right sizes. And I don't think these are all the sizes. 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0, 00. So it starts off as a 12, I guess. Okay? So I have 10s in here, which are these. And I'm going to see if this will go in like it should. Okay? And by the way, these screw on. Okay? So, I'm going to take this guy out, and I'm going to see if this guy will go in. No problem. Then you take the backing, find the post, and you just screw it. Screw it on. Cool. All right. Now, the good thing about these particular items in these little baggies is, here's the thing. This is great because it helps the journey and it's very rounded. It's not blunt. It's not like sharp, okay? But there's a little rubber backing on the back. If this gets lost and this comes out, now you're left with a closed hole. So now I can put this in my little journey here. Now I know this is very, I don't know the longer, better word here, but basically it's a long, impatient type process, right? So first you have to take that sharp taper and put the tunnel in. Then once it's expanded enough and healed enough, then you put this in so it holds its place. And when you hold its place till you get different jewelry, then you can put the one in and set it up. Now I'm not going to remove these because this is the permanent size I'm leaving them at. I'm leaving them at 10s, like I told you earlier. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out because those are 12s. Now, I'm going to take the 12 out to see if the 10 will go in really smoothly. If it will, then I can just prep this into the other one. Wow. Yep. Okay. So I have 10, 10, 4. You guys can see it? This is the permanent one that I'm leaving. This one is the semi-temp permanent because I'm going to keep going up until I hit roughly, I think 0. And then I'm stopping. That's it, guys. I'm not going any farther. I say that now as of, what is today? Technically the 21st of August at 4 o'clock in the morning. You heard me. I'm not going any bigger than a 00. So, and a 00 looks like this. Now, for comparison, that's what it's going to look like in my ear. You see that? Okay. Pretty wild. Anyway, so let's go ahead and take the top one out. Find. Okay. Hey, no pain whatsoever, and that's good. We don't want pain. At some point, okay. There. Okay, cool. I got them in. Now, the next step is to take the 12 out. Put that in there. And take the 10 and put the 10 in the bottom, like so, and put the rubber band in the back. Alrighty, we're in, guys. Now, all I need to do is, so what I'm going to do is basically number these baggies, okay? I'm going to pause the video. Okay, so I have a red magic marker here, Sharpie. Alright, so what I just did was I just inserted the 10 permanents up here. So what I'm going to do is write 10 G. And then here, just for kicks and giggles, 12 G, 8 G, 6 G, 4. Now, if you guys remember, the lower the number goes, the higher the increment in diameter. I know it's weird. Now, one of the things that I've read, and it makes sense, and if you think back to your construction days, okay? Electricity days, right? Electrician days. Wire. What is wire usually decided in? Gauge, right? So you take your ground wire and your power wire in your car, and they usually do it by AWG, right? Like American Wire Gauge or something. Well, that's where all these ear gauge things kind of originated from, was the electricity standard, or the electricity measurement, the scale. Okay, so that was 4. So this is 2G. This is a 0. Okay, and that means that these bigger ones are going to be my double zeros. Now, unfortunately, they don't have baggies, so I'm going to have to leave them the way they are. Okay? And what I'm going to do is just slide them in this little baggie that they gave to me, because that's how they gave them to me to begin with. I think, no, that's just reflection. I was going to say, I think there's lettering on them too, but no. Cool, guys. So, not only did I show you an unboxing, not only did I put in my new ones, not only did I explain the gauges, but we also went up a size in one of my stretches, okay? Also, guys, I have to set the record straight. I have to give you a formal apology, okay? I tried doing this channel for a journey of my stretches. Unfortunately, one thing that you guys saw is that I am at a 10 on my journey, or maybe a 6, okay? Well, remember the video that I said that it was an attempt? Well, it was a failed attempt, but I gave it some time. I gave it, you know, a little bit of chill out time, kind of like a timeout. Guess what? I got 4s in. So now, these are 4s, these are 10s, and these are 10s. So 10, 10, 4. Okay, 10, 10, 4. I'm going to leave them like that because I think that's just going to be good for my ears. Okay? Now, how did I do that? I had to go back to Old Faithful. Now, I say Old Faithful because this was the original way of doing this. I hated this because I had to leave these tapers in my ear to let it expand to give me enough stretch and growth for me to put the taper in behind, and so that it wasn't painful, right? And lesson learned, you really shouldn't go from one gauge to another in a week and then a week and a half later. You got to wait longer than that, guys, right? You don't want what's called a blowout. It's bad. But anyway, so I had to go from a 5 gauge to a 6. Oh, wait. Hold up. Okay. Yes, I'm thinking differently. So I went from 4 millimeters to 5 millimeters with these. Now, there are companies, as you can see, C14 is 1.6 millimeter, right? Maybe I do that. I don't know how it's going to look, okay? Normally, they'll just give you regular counts, like 5 millimeter, 6 millimeter, 7 millimeter, so on and so forth. But that's just like 4 gauge to 5 gauge to 6 gauge to 7 gauge to 8 gauge, right? Well, some companies actually have half sizes. 4.5, 5 gauge, 5.5 gauge, 6 gauge, 6.5 gauge, 7 gauge, so on and so forth. So the stretch isn't from this to this to this to this to this. It's basically this to 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 this, right? So it incrementally increases, okay? Well, unfortunately, when I recorded the stretch with the other taper system that I showed you that I absolutely loved, right? These guys, TBOSEN, right? The same guys that just made these ones too, right? TBOSEN, okay? These guys that did the whole screw taper onto your plug, I loved it because if you can get your taper in, you can get your plug in, right? Well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to get my ear right after I showered. Probably not a good idea because heat makes things expand, okay? So therefore, it made my insides expand too. So I went ahead, and by the way, I did use jojoba or jojoba oil in my ears, and I massaged them inside too. So when I put this in, it wouldn't go through. But when I put in this, it went all the way through till about that much at the end. So I knew it was ready, right? Because if you guys look at the taper, okay, there's the blunt end. It goes, and it stops. And then it's the same length from there to there. So if you can get half of it in up past that halfway point, you've already got it in. You just have to get it in enough to where you can push it through. And then I did the old faithful trick where you put your plug in right in front of it and just push your taper all the way through. Now, there was a slight amount of stinging, but I got it. Right now, I feel no pain, no hurt, nothing, right? And it was like a, ugh! It was a, right? It was nothing compared to the cartilage, right? But in any case, so I didn't record me doing this, so you won't get to see that. But rest assured, and I promise you, I went from a 6 gauge to a 4. So 4s are already in here. Now, what you can see is you can see the rubber gasket behind it, which is the rubber O-ring, right? It's going to hold it. What I'd like to do is put the other screw in one. So, you guys want to test it out? And we'll see if we can do that? Stay tuned and I'll do it for you. Alright? So, I'm going to record a new video and we're going to try and put these guys in there and see if the screw will hold. Because that'll be good. That way I can rotate and we'll have to worry about the O-ring falling out. Alright? So, until next time guys, I'm Sean the ToGA Brother. I'm out.